Hello, everybody. My name is Margot Feiner with the Colorado Auto Dealers Association, and today we have with us Diane Dandino and Ken Akey. They will be speaking with us about solar incentives and hail protection solutions. We've had lots of changes happening in that realm, so they will be able to come in and give us some good education on that. So, with all of that, I will hand it over to Diane and Ken.
Thank you, Margot. My insurance has increased tenfold. That's what a car dealer told me as we signed his contract. If you're in the hail belt, you know this. Hail isn't just small pebbles anymore, it's golf balls and sometimes baseballs. Almost hail is on growth hormones. Storms are more frequent, more damaging, and your insurance is skyrocketing. So I'm Diane Dandino, CEO of iPower Alliance, and with me is my colleague Ken Akey, Vice President of Sales at VPS. We help our customers prevent the damage. So one client almost lost everything after three storms. Insurance was canceled, sleepless nights. Today, he knows when the storms are coming, the cars are protected, insurance is back to normal, and he's saving tens of thousands a year on energy. So imagine this for your lot: full inventory, protected, energy paid for, no more sleepless nights worrying about hail. If you're in this situation where you need to deal with your hail risk, we have some very interesting solutions to tell you about and some very good incentives to help pay for it. So, hail and weather, the crazy part is that the risk is increasing. It's the Front Range of Colorado is in Hail Alley, expands to include Nebraska, Wyoming, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas. It's growing and through this whole region. And Hail Alley averages 7 to 9 hail days per year per in your location. So you can see the hail risk is very high. The risk is 99.8%. I mean, that's a huge risk. You could pretty much expect hail in any of these areas in your business, and I'm sure you've experienced that. One of the questions that come up from people is that what is the size of damaging hail? So just to note, as we're talking about things, under 0.75 inch is generally not damaging vehicles, but we start getting to 0.75 inches or larger, it starts doing serious damage. Over 2 inches, it is potentially totaling vehicles. And the recurrence rates are also increasing. Over the last 10 years, we're seeing a 38% more severe damaging hail events. We've been doing analysis of sites on locations that are seeing, say, recurrence of damaging hail between 5 and 8 years. So that means that your business and your location very likely could see a serious event in that time frame. So a little bit about iPower Alliance. So we are really a customer-focused solar developer. We've been doing solar for over 20 years, and then about 7 years ago, we got together with VPS and our customers to add hail protection to solar and found it to be a really fantastic pairing to help pay for the projects and save even more money on those projects. And now I'm going to introduce Ken, and he's going to talk a little bit about our partner VPS.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. I appreciate the time this morning. Just briefly about VPS, we've been covering vehicles for about 30 years from sun, heat, UV, and most importantly, hail. The idea to combine hail protection and solar, as Diane mentioned, has been about 7 years. We've got several projects in the Denver market over into Nebraska that you may have seen. We are really in the business of mitigating risk, and so coupled with the solar component, it really kind of comes together and provides a sort of a holistic solution for your dealership. Um, we do about 95 to 97% of all hail protection related projects in the United States, whether it be for automotive manufacturers, car dealers, big and small, airports, rental car facilities, you name it. Our first project started in Colorado there with Stapp Toyota. Just briefly on that. Stapp was in an interesting situation. Diane mentioned he had had three catastrophic storms, had lost his insurance. And when Diane and Wade White, our executive vice president, presented this solution to him, he immediately knew this was the answer. And it's not just protecting the vehicles; it's escalating energy rates. It's a lot of different things are combined into our presentation that really kind of brings the ROI for projects into focus and makes them feasible for dealers. There are several different ways that you can protect your vehicles from hail. Certainly, there are full solar carport, as you see in the picture in the middle. There is a agricultural netting solution that covers the vehicles, and there are sonotubes and different things that you can deploy. Some folks are using the parametric insurance. Um, the main difference really is and we'll get into this a little bit, is our way to right size the solution, because energy companies have specific amounts of energy that can be sent back to the grid. And so with a full solar carport, you tend to reach that capacity very quickly. The agricultural netting solution does have to be put up and taken down every year. And so it presents some challenges in your ability to sort of forecast weather. If you leave this stuff up a little too long and you get a snowstorm, that the system could come down on itself. If you take it down a little early and you get a late hailstorm, that's sort of the difference between the VPS integrated solution. Is these structures are permanent. They're built to your specific building code to handle whatever Mother Nature can throw at it. In 30 years, we've never had a structure failure. And so these projects are a very, very large construction project. The roof, the membrane, a lot of people refer to it as a fabric, which is a misnomer. It is an extruded plastic yarn HDPE product that is incredibly durable, as you can see on the picture on the right. There's about 2,500 pounds of bags sitting on top of a membrane to sort of demonstrate its durability. It is a class 4 roof. It protects your inventory, provided it's parked underneath of it, against hail. We've never had a hailstone penetrate the membrane. Not to say that it's certainly not possible when things get up above softball size or larger, but in that case, that's taking out everything that's in its path. We typically can reduce insurance coverages depending on the carrier from anywhere from about 40 to 75%. We're completing for Kia Motor America actually just did a study on their own, and they've shown that it reduces the temperature inside the vehicles by about 30%, or really about 30 to 35 degrees, depending on the climate. And so it really makes for a very comfortable experience for your shoppers as well. Out of the direct heat, under the shade, it's nice and breezy underneath there. So we have had comments from customers, or actually from general managers, that have just been shocked by how long customers will spend out on their parking lots looking at vehicles. So there are some additional benefits aside from the hail protection and obviously mitigating risk, is again just the comfortability, the longevity. And so, yeah, that's kind of VPS in a nutshell.
Great. Thanks, Ken.
Yeah.
So as we have just we started working together and put solar on the project, the benefit is that we just added racks to the existing columns. And this allows us to take the tax credit on the entire project, because the solar and the racking is all available for the tax credits, and the fabric provides a reflectivity to get energy from the bottom of the solar panels. So the project can get all the tax credits. The electric bill savings for the facilities and EV chargers saves on the bills. And we also are using U.S. content materials, which allows us to get 40% investment tax credit on the project. So it's a significant savings to the economics of these projects. Also, if your business is looking at LEED certifications or any of the green programs, you can meet those requirements or benefits. And then there are local utility incentives. In some place specifically, Excel Energy provides really good incentives for the solar projects. That's Front Range of Colorado, actually many parts of Colorado. And then the economics of this we're going to show you is it potentially gets your if the financing have very little to no amount of money out of pocket. So we really want to get the word out that there's an opportunity right now to do that. The other thing with the solar is very nice is that we can get extended perimeter protection. And so a lot of the designs, some of the designs that VPS has is a single row of cars, and we can extend that another 6 feet, so potentially 10 to 30% more coverage on your project. And also it reduces the risk even more on the designs. One of the questions we always get is the durability of solar panels. So all solar panels have to be tested to 1 inch hail. We use solar panels that have a thicker front sheet and have been tested to 2 inch hail. They have been uh, they have survived 2 inch hail. There's a tiny bit of reduction in power that they've noticed through the tests, but not significant. And the other piece is if you do have to replace solar panels, it is a very small portion of the cost of the project, and much, much less than the cost of fixing or replacing vehicles. So what I want to talk about today is the VPS iPower product, which is the solar integrated hail canopies. And we have built several of those projects over the last 10 years. Christopher's Dodge, we're Interstate STAP Toyota, and now we're doing several projects with Transwest and Elway Dealership Group, Mini of Loveland. Here's Christopher's Dodge. This is 500 kilowatts. One of the things to notice about this is that we actually can right size, as Ken had mentioned, the amount of solar you need with the amount of coverage you need. And that's been we have some ability to put single rows of solar, double rows of solar. Some cases we add rooftop solar to, if you've got an opportunity to add even more for your utility. So this is a very, very flexible option for your business and design. And also we have different styles with the protectors in the back or the single heritage and double heritage in the front. And Ken will talk more about that design in an example. This is Christopher's Dodge. This is just like a building underneath. And this is during the pandemic, so we didn't have many cars under there, but it was now it's full and saving his cars from damage. We've got some Transwest. We also covered RVs, and this is the first RV project that we've done, and it was an excellent solution for this customer. We have done the standard carports. In some cases, this might be an option for you. Maybe you want to cover some EV chargers. We could, so we really focus on what you need, the coverage you need, and the solutions that you need. So by adding the solar to the VPS canopies, we can cover the whole project with 100% of the ITC. We also the incentives that you get today are the 100% up to 40% ITC plus bonus depreciation. So the payback is pretty astonishing. So with financing, we're seeing, well, if you purchase it outright, it's 4.5 to 7 year paybacks is what we're seeing in our analysis. And with financing, we've been looking at a 20% down, and then you get 60% back in year one. So your positive cash flow for either up to 7 years or the life of the project. The economics with the solar and the canopies and your hail insurance savings and the energy savings is making an opportunity right now that could help you get your hail protection and protect your vehicles and your business. So as you can look at money that you're sending to the insurance company, money you're sending to the utility company, money that you're sending to the IRS, take that money and invest in your business. Get your hail protection, get solar. This is really a great time to do that. So I want to talk about a couple of project examples. And Ken, I'll let you speak a little bit about. So VPS has been doing canopies alone. You can still do canopies alone. It may be an option for that will work best for you. But this is a design that for one of the projects that we have estimated. So Ken, you can talk a little bit about this project.
Yeah, so just briefly on the design, no two parking lots are the same, right? Every parking lot has different shapes, curves, landscape islands. Some have lots of what we call single rows of coverage, where you just pull the car up to a curb. And so that's all we can cover in that row. Some dealers have large open areas in the back of the dealership or maybe off to the side where we can deploy what Diane referred to as the protector. This solution is what we use at every automotive manufacturing plant in North America and in Mexico, whether it's GM, Kia, Hyundai, Audi, BMW, Tesla, Toyota, you name it, we have coverage at all of them. And the reason for this is what it does is it covers the drive lanes in addition to the parking spaces. So let's say that it's, Saturday afternoon and we know Sunday there's a pretty high potential for hail risk. You can literally just shuttle cars into the drive lane and just kind of stack them up under there. And as Diane mentioned, it's really kind of like a building. All of these bays you see, if you can see the drawing for the blue, each one represents its own individual bay, each square. And so what we do is we join them together to create that seamless hail protection from one end to the other. And what that does, the only risk you would have for hail at that point is if it's blown in at a side wind at super high speeds, would be the very perimeter of the structure itself. And as Diane mentioned, the nice part is when we were able to add the solar, it does increase the square footage and it cuts down that angle, essentially eliminating that risk. The orange structures you see on the left is what I referred to as a single row of coverage. So you're just pulling in straight into, say, the curb. So we have, one row essentially. Those are, kind of the least desirable just from the respect that it's the most expensive per space. Because that footing, foundation, and column is then only cantilevering over that one space. Ideally, we use a mixture of structures to get the coverage that you need, whether it's 200 cars, 400 cars, we'll figure it out with the lot and where you park your cars, where you park employees, service vehicles. So we take all of those things into consideration to create a custom design to suit your needs, whether it's how the lot flows, how parts trucks come in and out of the lot, garbage, disposal units. So all these things are factored in to come up with this custom design. The solar is just creates that unique aspect that obviously there's a lot of benefits from, so many different aspects of the project, but it really does help you pay for your hail protection and obviously lock in that energy savings.
Thanks, Ken. So now I'll talk about that solar. So in this particular project, we have 221 spaces, but this was in Excel territory, and this customer uses a lot of energy. So we were able to put 782 kilowatts of solar on the canopies and the rooftop. And this provided them the best return on investment, producing 101% of their energy use. So we also added 35,000 square feet of coverage, but plus 5,400 square feet with the edges with the added solar. So what we came up with on this project is that the insurance company provided a quote of 121,550 per year, about 550 per vehicles, which has been the average for, say, annual savings from what they were paying. We put in the 40% ITC because of the US content and 100% bonus depreciation. They also got $119,000 annual energy savings plus that includes the Excel rebates and then the additional demand savings with intelligent energy management. So this table gives you a sense of how the economics work. It's 1.4 million approximately for the canopies alone. With the canopies and the solar and the rooftop was a $4 million project. The first year incentives is with the canopies alone, you still get your bonus depreciation, But with the solar integrated canopies, we get the bonus depreciation. We get the ITC energy savings. And so if you finance it, you put 20% down, $900,000 down. And in the first year, you will get back 2.5 million. And so you can potentially be ahead after year one, $1.6 million. This particular project is cash positive after year one from that 1.6 million. And so again, the incentives and the economics are here to make these very feasible financially. I've got the details here. If you get a copy of this presentation, you can take a look at the analysis, but just show how the cash flow works as we ran these numbers and also the financing. This is a Stearns Bank loan that we are proposing, and they're very interested in funding these kinds of projects. Of course, if you have your own funding, you can do the same thing. We have another site, which is a VPS single heritage. So, as Ken described, you want to maybe talk about this one and maybe the differences between the two type projects, Ken?
Yeah, I'll briefly touch on that. So as you can see, I mentioned every parking lot is different. So we were able to sometimes deploy all three different types of structures. Sometimes we're very limited. So in this case, you'll notice there's no protector. So there's no super large block of coverage. We were able to use double heritage cantilevers and singles to accommodate the amount of coverage the dealer was looking for. And we had to leave the drive lanes open in this case because of a utility easement or a fire lane going around the building.
Great. And so then we added solar, and this one has 245 spaces covered, and this time 288 kilowatts of solar with canopies. It says and rooftop. There's no rooftop on that one. That's a typo. But providing 86% of their energy use. And then we have 40,000 square feet with another 8,600 square feet of coverage on the edges with the solar. So the economics of this one is a little different. One of the things is that the protectors are less expensive per square foot than the heritage and there's just more columns. But the economics can still work very well. So in this case, they have 125,000 a year in savings from insurance. Again, the 40% ITC bonus depreciation and Excel rebates, and then $47,000 in annual savings. And I say year one because it adjusts a little bit every year, but so rates go up, the energy production goes down just a little bit with the degradation of the panels. But the economics over time, again, it works over the up to a 30-year life of the solar project. So the project cost in this case is $2 million for canopies alone. The solar integrated canopies total is $3.7 million. And now we're looking at the financing. So $820,000 down, first year investment return is $2.4 million. And again, balance after 1 year, you are $1.6 million ahead after year one. This one is cash positive through year 7. So you do have, like, as the economics go over the years and a replacement of the fabric, you have a little bit of cost in 7, 8, 9, but again, your internal rate of return is very good for the business and your short-term cash is excellent. And again, put the cash analysis in here for you to review later and to go and see the details of how the cash flow goes on that. So the next thing I wanted to talk to you about today is Hail Dash. And about a year ago, I was talking to a dealership that said they got caught when their cars weren't all under the canopies and they had a pretty bad hailstorm. And I had some friends that had a weather company, and I asked them, hey, can you guys forecast hail? And they said, yeah, I think we can do that. So we spent over the last year developing Hail Dash, a 48-hour location-specific hail forecasting tool. So you can actually know when, where, and how damaging hail it will be and when it's coming. And so this gives you a chance to really pay attention to your assets. This is location specific. So you put your location in the system and you'll get alerts on hail watches, hail warnings, and see what the chance is of 48 hours, 24 hours out, and get imminent hail alerts as well. We also have radar, so you can be watching the storm heading to your location after you get the alert. And at the bottom, you'll see that it actually tells you what hour that storm is expected. Right now, the National Weather Service says, hey, today's chance of thunderstorms and possible damaging hail. And then just an hour before, you'll start getting their alerts. It is just not enough time to move vehicles, plan for your coverage, even if you want to get your personal car under cover. So this is a great opportunity for you to see what's coming and have more tools to help you keep your assets covered. It also has hail swaths, so you can see how often and how close that storm came. I think this is one of the things for me that's been astonishing in watching this is that we'll see like a location in Castle Rock. They've had out of those 8 potential actual hail events, they've had 40 alerts all through the summer come in of possible hail nearby. So Colorado is at risk for hail all summer, but you can really get a sense of which storms are going to be damaging and which ones aren't. You also have a mobile view, so you can see where the alerts are. You can see the map and how damaging that hail could be to your business. Also, the radar and the hail swaths on your phone. And then you'll get email, and then we'll have phone alerts as well. So right now we're offering a free trial of this for anyone who'd like to check it out. And it's been helping a lot of our customers have more visibility into this risk. So why now, and why are we bringing this forward, and why is it important to know? So with the latest legislation of the current administration, tax investment tax credits are changing. So 2025 is the last year for the ITC, the investment tax credit, which can give you 40% off your project. So as I had shown you, basically you get free solar on your VPS canopy with years of energy savings, and that is going to be ending at the end of this year. So you need to contract this year, and then we have 2 years to build it. And so this is an opportunity. We just wanted to get the word out to as many people as possible who may be interested in solar, may be needing to cover their vehicles, and to know about this opportunity to save a lot of money on your project now and years to come. And so next steps, how to get started. So you can get your no-cost feasibility analysis by contacting us at sales@iPower Alliance or calling 720-548-6336. You can also go to ipoweralliance.com/hail to get a free trial on Hail Dash. And all we need to do is discuss the coverage locations and your priorities and 12 months utility bills, and we can get you an analysis and an estimate on your project. And so that's the presentation for us today, and we'd love to talk with you. But also, I just want to mention that we do sponsor Clear the Air Foundation in terms of the donation for every projects that we install in Colorado. And so we really appreciate the time today, appreciate the opportunity to introduce you to to solar, to hail canopies, and potentially how this can help your business. So thank you very much for listening today. And Ken, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, just briefly, as a business owner and a car dealer, I know when you walk in every day, you're hit with a ton of different issues, problems, concerns, things going on with the dealership. And, I think for a lot of our customers that we've completed installations for, this just solves a very large headache and potential risk to your business. There's not been any better time as far as how all of these things come together to take advantage of 40% essentially of your project being paid for you. Energy savings, or I'm sorry, energy escalation is never ending. I have yet to see a reduction in my utility bills at home, and I highly doubt you're seeing a reduction at your dealership. We know that they're going to continue to increase. So this, again, I just want to reiterate, um, the canopies are always available. The solar is always available. The big thing is, again, what like Diane said, to take advantage of the government participating in your project for 40% of the cost ends at the end of the year. So that was really kind of the point, to educate everyone, but to mainly let you know that if this is something you want to pursue or to even discuss, just reach out to us. Again, Diane mentioned we do not charge anything for the site planning, the solar analysis, the presentation. And if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. But at least you'll have the education of how it can and the potential savings in your area. I appreciate your time. And of course, please reach out to us anytime with questions, comments, concerns. Happy to speak to any of you.
Great. Yeah. Thanks, Ken. Thanks, Margot. Appreciate the opportunity.